This is really interesting, although it might fly under the radar for some people. We have Intel saying that they are going to launch a line of specific crypto mining chips. And I would focus on two things here. One is they are saying that they will be 1,000 times more efficient than chips currently on the market, which I find fascinating. But more to the point, that will have some real impacts on Bitcoin mining, hash power, and distribution, as well as Ethereum. I guess I'm missing a few details on whether these are going to be sort of universal or tailored to particular chains or algorithms. I think it said SHA-256 is part of it, but we can fill that in. And the second part of this news that I think is really important and hopefully will be exciting for people who aren't even involved in crypto is that Intel says that the architecture of this chip means that it won't make added demands on its supply chain for conventional graphics chips, which currently, especially for Ethereum, are putting a crunch on things that people who play video games on their computers want. So for at least the last 2 years or so, prices on video game graphics cards have really been inflated on the secondary market because people want to use them to mine ETH. And price action has probably reduced some pressure there over the last few months, but having additional options for mining, or even better, superior options, is going to shift some demand back to those gamers, so they should be happy. Will, I am curious to hear from you first, because you are our mining specialist here. Can you talk a little bit about what having one kind of chip that's 1,000 times more efficient than another could do to basically the mining market?
Totally. Yeah, this story's been kind of eking out for the last few weeks. Seems like we got some new details this morning from this article. It looks like it's 1,000% more efficient than current GPUs on the market. People haven't mined with GPUs Bitcoin in about a decade, actually. They've been using specific circuits called ASICs, and those machines are extremely powerful. It doesn't seem that Intel's actually going after that market. They seem to be going after a market that actually doesn't really exist anymore, the GPU mining for Bitcoin, which is pretty interesting that they're going that route for a few reasons. The first of all is they seem to be catering to like a home mining angle. And of course, a lot of this is extremely speculative. There's not a lot of details out there right now, but it seems to be like a home mining exercise where they're saying, hey, there's a constituent of the market that wants to mine from home and support the network that way, much in the same way a lot of people run a Bitcoin node. And they're going to create a miner that you can run at your house. It's very energy efficient, probably won't earn very much money, but it will support the network in the same way that someone running a node at their home supports the Bitcoin network by enforcing the rules. That seems to be what they're going after. The second part about this that's really interesting is the participants in this. So we saw Square, or Block rather now, Grid, which is a big Bitcoin miner out there, and then Argo, which is another big Bitcoin miner out there. They're bringing in these parties that seemingly, I wouldn't say that I would suppose that they'd be a part of this at first glance, especially Block. But Block has really made a push for making Bitcoin part of an everyday person's life. Think of Cash App, think of the Lightning Network on Cash App, and their recent endeavors into the Lightning SDK kit, basically allowing any developer to implement Lightning into their app. Same thing they're doing with ASICs, it seems here. They talked about launching an ASIC earlier this year, or at least exploring the option of building an ASIC. They talked about building a hardware wallet. It seems that the route they're choosing is this home mining angle where you're able to plug in a GPU, support the network, and mine Bitcoin at a very, very low percentage and probably a very low profitability percentage in order to just support the Bitcoin network in general. So that's my two takeaways from this. Naomi, I want to throw it up to you, though. It's pretty exciting news.
I mean, you're our go-to mining expert, so I don't think I have much valuable to contribute there. I will just say that it's interesting that Intel's kind of digging into this. I mean, there are companies that are moving away from Intel. You've got Apple that's replaced the chip and they're building their own in-house. And so maybe this is Intel's way of really focusing, doubling down on the mining market, seeing the direction that crypto is going in and seeing that maybe this will be a big boom market for them going forward. But it definitely, I mean, it gives them this amazing competitive edge. If it's 1,000 times, I mean, that's a huge number. So very interesting to see the direction that Intel goes in, especially with large companies like Apple sort of moving away from them. But Jen, I'll throw it to you for final thoughts.
I got nothing. I had a bunch of questions and Will just knew what I wanted to ask and answered all of them. So thank you.
Can I just ask one more clarifying question then, Will?
Head.
Yeah, totally.
So it sounds like your read on this, and again, there's some speculation, but it doesn't sound like this is going to knock the legs out from underneath, like Bitmain, for example, or other ASIC manufacturers who are at scale already.
Yeah, from my reading of the article, and of course, it's all speculative. I know that Intel's keeping a lid on a lot of these details, and for good reason, right? It seems if they're going for the GPU, then they're not going to be able to compete with an ASIC because it's just two different types of chips. One's generalist purpose, one is for a specific purpose. There's two different markets. And again, I think what they're going for is this hobbyist home miner market, people who want to mine Bitcoin at home, secure the network in their own way. The one read I would take on this, that like the walkway, is this does give validity to Bitcoin. It's like home mining aspect. You see a lot of these other networks, they're like, oh, we can run a validator from home. It's more green, it's more energy efficient. Well, here you have a new chip that might be coming out that kind of knocks the legs out from under that article, because you have a significant portion of the Bitcoin network in the next 5 to 10 years is mining from home on very energy efficient GPUs. Again, that's all very speculative. So we'll see what happens in the future, of course.